Hello there, a very good evening to you. Happy Workers' Day. Or, do I say what is left of it? Considering the time of the day. I hope the day was worth celebrating, of course, with the anticipation of the 30,000 naira minimum wage. This year's Labor Day should be exciting. So, I welcome you to this edition of News Extra, the package that goes the extra mile to bring to you stories of what is going on around you. Tonight, of course, we start with the issue of the moment, Workers' Day. Also prominent on the news is the story of Zainab Aliyu, who has just had a close shave with the Saudi authorities over illicit drugs. We won't leave out security issues as South-South monarchs recommend ways of securing the country. There are plenty of stuff from the business environment that you should not miss. Plus, stories on development of critical infrastructure. Of course, our usual sports news and weather forecast are here for your entertainment and information. So, it's going to be a jolly ride with me in the driver's seat. Come with me on the News Extra ride. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. Now, as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to celebrate the 2019 International Workers' Day and the International Labour Organization Centenary Celebration, the federal government has commended the nation's workforce for the resilience, tenacity, sacrifice and commitment in standing up against unfair labor practices, social injustice and violation of the fundamental rights of the working people the world over. In the president's message to the workers, Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo applauds the contributions to national development and solicits greater support and cooperation to build a country where youths will be gainfully employed, security of work assured, and the fundamental rights of the working people guaranteed. State House correspondent Jide Onifade has more on that.
The theme of the May Day celebration, in line with the International Labour Organization's focus, is another 100 years of struggle for jobs, dignity, and social justice in Nigeria. Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo emphasizes the commitment of the President Muhammadu Buhari-led government towards ensuring that the welfare of all workers and indeed all Nigerians are met.
For this administration, the theme, another 100 years of struggle for jobs, dignity and social justice in Nigeria, is not just a headline for this May Day celebration. We truly believe that the Nigerian citizen, especially those at the bottom of the pyramid, must be the central focus of all economic planning and budgeting. Their welfare and the well-being of all of these Nigerians who work every day, who render honest service every day, is the true benchmark of our commitment as government and as a people to social justice and the dignity of all Nigerians.
This is coming at a time of unprecedented changes and exceptional challenges.
In the message of the Director General of the International Labour Organization to workers, Assistant Director General, Regional Director for Africa, Cynthia Samuel Olonjuwon, raises rhetorical questions on how Nigeria would use its human and natural resources to shape a better future for the people. As observed by some of the speakers, the Solidarity song will remain another anthem if the people failed to move as one.
Well, it's a long march to achieving economic buoyancy, security, excellent public service, and it all demands cooperation, cohesion, and this is exactly what government is demanding from workers to shape a good life for the people. From the Eagle Square in Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Well, Nigerian workers joined their counterparts around the world to mark the 2019 May Day celebration. The uniqueness of this year's event was the excitement by Nigerian workers over the 30,000 naira new minimum wage signed into law by the Buhari administration. Emmanuel Ayimiro has the details.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
Every 1st of May is celebrated as Workers' Day. Since 1981, when the celebration started in Nigeria, the leadership of the organized labor have always used the opportunity to reflect on the progress and setbacks in the struggle in order to improve the lot of workers by setting an agenda for subsequent years. While commending the federal government for the 30,000 naira national minimum wage, trade union leaders and their allies want corporate payments of taxes to be encouraged, political and financial autonomy for local government, a stop to unlawful withholding of contributory pension, and for the judiciary to speed up cases of corruption.
This May Day we are celebrating today is significant. The 30,000 minimum wage that we have been waiting for, which have been signed to law.
There is no better May Day gift to Nigerian workers than the 30,000 national minimum wage. We commend the National Assembly and President Muhammadu Buhari for ascending to our demand for an increased national minimum wage.
On all governments at all levels, and also the private sector, to ensure that contributory pensions deductions both from the staff and from employers are remitted to pension administrators as at when due.
With the new national minimum wage coming on board, workers' representatives can now make case at the industrial court.
Workers' representatives can now directly approach the National Industrial Court of Nigeria on matters concerning non-compliance with the provisions of the new Minimum Wage Act.
The day has been observed, commendations have been made, employers have been urged to pay salaries. What is of concern for now is how to achieve decent job agenda for Nigerian workers. From the Eagle Square in Abuja, Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTA News.
In the meantime, the passage of the 30,000 naira minimum wage by President Muhammadu Buhari for the Nigerian worker is already being adopted by state governors, and as such was a moral booster for many workers who participated in the 2019 May Day celebration. Doin Dia now reports.
From Ogun State comes a report that Governor Ibikunle Amosun has assured workers in the state of payment of the new 30,000 minimum wage as a template is already being laid.
I promise that I will not, and I have meant it when I said it, that I will not owe any deduction before the end of the year. I repeat all the deduction that we owe the workers of Ogun State.
And from Yola, correspondents report that Governor Muhammadu Umar Jibrila promised to implement the new minimum wage to guarantee better living condition of the workers. It was not different at the Workers' Day rally in Benin City, the Edo State capital, where Governor Baseki said a committee of top government officials and labor leaders will be set up to fashion out modalities for the payment of the new minimum wage. Similarly, in Jigawa State, workers received with joy the assurance payment of the 10,000 minimum wage by the state governor, Muhammad Badaru Abubakar. Kemi Adeosun from Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, sent in a report on the reaction of workers to the announcement of the new minimum wage by President Muhammadu Buhari and their expectations.
Minimum wage law is a federal law that is incumbent on all employers of labor to implement.
People of low income will be able to have something to themselves.
And from Benue State comes on the report that Governor Samuel Otham has called for a review of the revenue sharing formula to enable states meet up with the payment of the new minimum wage. In Abuja, Doin Dia, NTA News.
And as Nigerian workers mark the International Workers' Day, the issues of their selflessness, hard work and diligence, as well as adequate and timely compensation are once again being highlighted. Guests on NTA's Current Affairs program, Good Morning Nigeria, made specific reference to ineffective labor laws, casualization and poor working conditions as some of the factors militating against the productivity of the Nigerian worker. Daniel Adiriye tells us more.
As Nigerians celebrate Workers' Day, the implementation of the national minimum wage is one of the issues dominating discourse. President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Aliyu, says the new law will be fully implemented as the 30,000 naira figure was arrived at after exhaustive consultation.
Once the law is signed into law as done by the Mr. President, it will be gazetted. I suppose by now it should have been gazetted. Once it is gazetted, Justice will send it to the SGF. SGF will transmit it to the Salaries and Wages Commission to do the needful. And therefore, a circular will be issued to all ministries, departments, and agencies as guideline. And it will have all of this.
The issue of casualization and unlawful practices by employers was also addressed on the program.
If government can give a license for people to casualize, and at the same time we now say that they are not working under the others, then there's a problem. I think we have a concerted effort to kill casualization in Nigeria. It is possible. Because we're not giving any license for anybody to employ for others, except there's extenuating circumstances.
Director of Productivity and Labour Standards, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Danny Neburago, explained that government is engaging the labour more closely to curb incessant strike actions by unions.
What is important is that we must, when such disagreements happen, we must come to the negotiation table and seek for ways and means of resolving the grievances or the disputes.
This is a government, as we are told, will change agenda. It must change it all so as to make it relevant to the workforce.
They urged all employers and employees to work together for a more productive and prosperous Nigeria. In Abuja, Daniel Adiriye, NTA News.
Now, the struggle for dignity of service and social justice for its members is one that the organized labor say must be sustained. In this next report, Ime Udori takes a look at the plight of Nigerian workers.
Private and public servants are the life wire of any nation's economy. This is because they constitute major workforce that see to a finish the implementation of programs and projects for economic development. But beyond this, what has been the plight of workers?
Some states, several states, most of the workers are not being paid their salaries. They are being owed. Their salaries are in arrears. And these are issues that bothers our minds.
When you go to industries, either manufacturing, construction, when you get there, you discover that safety is also poor. People are getting injured every day. And many hardly get compensation.
Living wages, so that we sustain ourselves, we consider those that are working to get that economy moving.
Implementation of the new minimum wage for workers across the country by the federal and state governments is about to change the narrative.
The minimum wage, which the president has implemented, makes us more happier than every other year.
We are now employing all the state governors to implement such, so that it won't be at the federal level that something is stopping.
The government, he pays every 23rd of the month, so we get our salary. He's not owing us, so I give God glory.
And to whom much is given, much is expected. How will this spur workers to improve on their productivity?
It is an incentive that we make the workers to move forward in their activities.
On this day of the celebration of workers across the globe, Nigerian workers are also demanding an improved work condition from their employers. It is expected that if workers' demands are met, their lives after retirement will be more meaningful.
Well, workers on the annual International Labour Day bring to the front burner their demands, especially as it affects welfare and better working conditions. In this report, Adebola Brooksland Sunday assesses the Nigerian worker and the quest for better working environment.
Most of the roads in the Abuja metropolis were light in traffic, and offices in the public and private sectors short, being a public holiday declared by the federal government to commemorate the 2019 Workers' Day. But across the federal secretariat is the convergence of the workers, celebrating their resilience and contributions to national development.
Nigerian workers are enjoying the dividend of democracy since they have passed the minimum wage bill. And that's why you can see the smile in the faces of everybody on this ground.
The workers describe President Muhammadu Buhari as the most labor-friendly president the country has ever produced.
Because he has written his name on gold, all the impossibility for us to see us mainstream in Nigeria and also living a dignity life by signing that bill.
Staff welfare is paramount to the president, and he has directed all of us to key into that. If not, we'll be disciplined.
Protection of workers from occupational hazards was also raised.
Look at the war-torn areas. You find the media there. And they are there because they want to report, you see, the reality is on ground. And in the course of doing that, they may lose their lives.
For the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Aliyu, workers the world over have helped in wealth creation.
Despite the challenge, they have contributed immensely to national development. They have created wealth. Wealth around the world have more than tripled in the last 2 decades. Wealth have more than tripled. But what have been the condition of workers around the world? It's an issue that certainly is pathetic. We have created more billionaires.
The charge by organized labor is for workers to live up to their burdens for overall economic growth of the country. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
And joining me in the studio to speak more on issues around the 2019 Workers' Day is Wale Oyerinde, the Deputy Director, Membership Services, Nigerian Employers Consultative Association. We're glad to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
Now, the major issue this year's May Day celebration is the new minimum wage. What exactly does this mean, and how much of this is salary increase?
Thank you. For us, basically, as you're all aware, the president signed the national minimum wage law on the 18th of April. For us, it is not a general salary increase for everybody. It is an amount below which the least worker should not earn. So for the private sector, basically, it's not an issue because most employers in the private sector are already paying above 30,000. And in most employers' organizations, most businesses where they are unionized, there is collective bargaining, that happens every 2 years. So the employers are committed to the new national minimum wage, and it is expected that all stakeholders, even governments, federal government has committed, and the state government also, I think they are all committed to the payment of this 30,000. The general consensus is the minimum wage is desirable, is what should be paid to all workers at the federal and at the state level. And we expect compliance from all stakeholders, both at the state, the federal, and also organized businesses.
Well, do you foresee any challenge with implementation across board?
You know, the challenge that has been expressed, you know, we know the Governors Forum last year came up with they can't pay 30,000.
That's right.
Then the president intervened. And over time, I think the general consensus, I think 2 days ago when the vice president was at the induction ceremony of the Governors Forum, he also reiterated the fact that all state governors should be prepared to pay the 30,000. And Labour is has vowed to take up any state governor that will not pay 30,000. We expect everybody should comply. The states the governors should try and make their states more viable, so that we won't run into the crisis that we ran into last year of Labour threatening strike, disrupting business activities. I think we should move away from that now.
Okay, as an insider, you have seen, you were part of the negotiations, you've seen the wheelings and the dealings, Are And you know the problems that the country went through to get to where we are today. Now, is this what the nation will have to go through again when the time comes for review? Or has that been taken care of?
We hope we won't have to go through the crisis we went through. We believe we have learned from that lessons. The ILO Convention 131 on setting of national minimum wage, it clearly spells out the processes to go through. And we believe from the experience of last year, the social partners will not allow that to happen again. Somebody have to be the conscience of this process. And I believe my principals will not shy away from bringing the conscience. During the May Day rally this morning, the Assistant ILO Director General alluded to the imperative for the National Labour Advisory Council to be functional. When all those structures are functional, then you won't have labour going on strike, we won't have anybody waiting for 3 years, for 7, 8 years before we start negotiation for national minimum wage. Once all those structures are put in place, the machinery will activate itself, and we won't have to go through labour agitating consistently for the setting of a new national minimum wage. We believe we won't have to go through those torrid times that we went through last year again.
Well, we're all looking forward to the full implementation of the 30,000 naira minimum wage.
We hope so.
I've been speaking with Wale Oyerinde. He's the Deputy Director of Membership Services, Nigerian Employers Consultative Association. Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. Moving on, the wife of the president, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has called on Nigeria's governors to continue to give maximum support to their spouses in their efforts of tackling the spread of cancer and other preventable diseases affecting women and children. Mrs. Buhari made the call during the Governors' Spouses Summit in Abuja, organized by the Nigeria's Governors Forum. State House correspondent Aliyu has more on that.
This is the first time the Nigeria's Governors Forum is organizing a summit for their spouses, which attracted the participation of the former First Ladies of Nigeria, as well as the current and the outgoing First Ladies of the 36 states of the Federation. The idea is to brainstorm and chart a new course towards addressing health-related challenges of women such as cancer, maternal, child and adolescent health, as well as malnutrition. While pushing forward the demands of women and gender equity at the summit, the wife of the president enjoined the spouses of the governors to scale up the requisite of their complementary role to the administration of their husbands in making life meaningful to Nigerians.
I am happy to be among my sisters, both the current and former First Ladies of our great nation, Nigeria. I feel highly delighted that we have all been working successfully for the betterment of the cause of women, children, young people, and the less privileged in Nigeria.
That we have to look at if we want to help women. Basic literacy, income generating activities, nutrition and home management, agriculture and appropriate technology, and primary health care.
The passage is, you are not fair but productive and innovative partners in progress. Part of humanitarian care and support, as well as catalysts of political and socio-economic engineering in the 21st century.
Our focus and objectives are to build strategic alliances between the North, the South, and all over the country. To set priorities and identify pet projects that will help our people back home at the grassroots level.
The summit also deliberated on issues comprising setting priority and identifying pet projects, accountability and human development, as well as building strategic alliance and the security matters with optimism of enhancing synergy towards uplifting the living standards of Nigerians, especially women, youth and children. From the State House, Aliyu, NTA News.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, has described the release of Zainab Aliyu by the Saudi authorities as another sign of international goodwill that Nigeria enjoys under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, whose integrity is widely acknowledged. The minister, who was away on official assignment to Guinea-Bissau when the release was effected, says all diplomatic tools were exploited at the highest level to achieve the desired results.
Well, first of all, we're delighted at this excellent news. We would like to thank the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for that decision. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been conducting very quiet diplomacy with the Saudi authorities for some time now. We've provided them with documentation, and this has obviously led to the release, and which is a very good thing. And I think that it also shows the benefits of quiet diplomacy, which has been conducted, as opposed to conducting our foreign affairs on Twitter and other social media. So we're very happy that quiet diplomacy has proven its worth.
And shortly after the release of Zainab Aliyu, NTA had an exclusive interview with her father.
The will of God, there is no human who is not going to be tested. And that's the test, and the God willing, we have passed the test. And to express how we feel as a family, I cannot express, because it's not a matter of somebody died. It's a matter of somebody going to be killed innocently. And you can imagine that a daughter being snatched away from her mother's hand, I swear. And then the mother had to leave that country when her visa expired. And when she came back, you can understand the trauma we have went in. And I can't express, but sincerely speaking, I most sincerely thank Nigerians for their support, morally, financially, and otherwise, for their prayers. And I must thank the President Muhammadu Buhari, and I most sincerely thank the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Diaspora, Abuja Davri, because she has done a wonderful thing. She's a wonderful woman, because through her, we got this done in 2 weeks' time.
Well, the family of Zainab Aliyu are anxious for her arrival from Saudi Arabia following her exoneration of alleged drug trafficking and subsequent release from detention. They say they are grateful to President Muhammadu Buhari for his quick intervention, which led to Zainab to regain her freedom. Fatima Sunusik Arai reports that the mood in the family circle is that of joy and prayers.
Joy knows no bound as the family of Habibu Nuhukila are looking forward to the arrival of their daughter Zainab, who was detained in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the last 4 months for alleged drug trafficking. That was Zainab's mother, Mariam Habib, in a high spirit in anticipation of being united with her daughter, whom she left in Saudi Arabia December last year.
I felt so happy. In fact, at the first place, I could not even believe it, because I thought that is the end of Zainab.
Zainab's grandfather, who was full of praises to the federal government for taking quick action that led to the release of his granddaughter, described Zainab's ordeal as test from God.
I'm looking forward to seeing her return to Kano and join us, join her friends, join her colleagues, join her students in Kano, and continue with her normal life.
This is one of the most happiest moments in my life. Yes, it is. It is, because the trauma we went through for these 4 months.
This is Zainab's room. And nobody has slept on this bed for the past 4 months because Zainab has been in detention in Saudi Arabia. But the good news is Zainab will soon be home.
I come to her room and stay. And it makes me feel like I will just see her. She's so nice. I really miss her when she wasn't with us. Zainab is the best sis and best friend in the world, and I'm so much happy for her release.
25-year-old Zainab, a final student of English language, is expected to return home soon. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi, RIA, NTA News.
South monarchs come up with measures to combat security challenges. Find out their recommendations when we come back after these messages. John.
Data. We can't live without it. Share it. Impress with it. Borrow it. Sell with it.
I'm here. Calm down, breathe.
Celebrate with it. Breathe easy, knowing that with Glow, data is oxygen.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, invites all federal permanent secretaries, heads of cabinet affairs offices at the state level, some select secretaries to state governments, and heads of service to states to the maiden meeting of heads of cabinet affairs at the federal and state levels aimed at building a synergy for efficient coordination of approved council decisions on policies, programs, and projects towards effective growth and development of the country. Date, Thursday, May 2nd, 2019. Time, 9 a.m. Venue, State House Banquet Hall, Presidential Villa, Abuja. Registration starts at 7 a.m. at the same venue. Babatunde Lawal, Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Affairs Office, Announcer.
The Center for Basic Space Science, an activity center of excellence under the National Space Research and Development Agency, NASDA, invites the general public to the official commissioning of projects at the center's campus Nsukka in Enugu State. The projects, which were fully funded by the federal government under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, are as follows: Astronomy Observatory Complex, Mechanical Workshop, Lumt Solar Telescope, Optical Astronomy Dome, 3D Printing Laboratory. Date, 4th May 2019. Time, 10 a.m. Special Guest of Honor, Dr. Ogunaya Onu. Guest of Honor, Right Honorable Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, Senator Ajayi Borough, Honorable Benny Law. Chief Host, Professor Seidu Mohammed. Host, Dr. Bonaventure Okere, Dr. Felix Ale. Announcer.
What is it that transforms the economies of the world? More than a nation's natural resources, it is about the quality of its people. The UAE has largely transitioned from an oil-driven economy into one that is knowledge-based. And by developing their human capital, others who have little or no natural resources have become global leaders in technology and innovation. We can also do the same. Combining modern skills with entrepreneurship development,
will give rise to enterprises which can increase the demand and capacity for skilled labor. Our mission at the Industrial Training Fund is to provide the knowledge and skills that can meet this demand, in recognition that this combination is the global currency of the 21st century economies. And so for us, this is what it's all about.
The management of the Nigeria Television Authority (NTA), Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria (FRCN), and Voice of Nigeria cordially invites the general public to the 14th edition of the annual Ramadan lecture, which will inshallah hold on Saturday, 18th May 2019. The topic is Tolerance in Islam, to be delivered by Sheikh Muhammad Nuruddin Lemu, Director of Research and Training, Dawah Institute of Nigeria Islamic Education Trust, Mina, Niger State. The venue for the event is Lumana Multipurpose Hall, River Road, Jabi Road East, Ngorimi Jari, Kaduna by 9 a.m. Under the distinguished chairmanship of Lamido of Adamawa, His Royal Highness Muhammad Barkindo Aliyu Mustafa. The chief host is His Excellency Malam Nasr Ahmed El-Rufai, the Executive Governor of Kaduna State. Royal Father of the Day is His Royal Highness Alhaji Dr. Show Idris, CFA, Emir of Zazzau. The host, Malam Yakubi Muhammad, Director General of Nigeria Television Authority, Malam Mansur Liman, Director General of Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, and Dr. Osita Okechukwu, Director General of Voice of Nigeria, Announcer Organizing Committee. You are welcome.
We're glad to have you back with us on News Extra tonight. Now, Africa has over time had a well-structured traditional system. In fact, in the past, the maintenance of peace, order and security laid solely on the traditional rulers, who are custodians of culture and customs. Responsibilities that they performed effectively, having direct links with the grassroots. With increasing cases of insecurity and moral decadence these days, the kings say they are willing to resume such roles once again. And the South-South monarchs, after a steering committee meeting, resolved to forge a stronger relationship with security agencies to address security issues in their domains. Chimdima Ndubisi has that report.
It is an established fact that for development to be achieved in any society, there must be security, unity, peace and order. Over the years, there has been growing concern over insecurity in form of kidnappings, thefts and other social vices, which are taking tolls on the economy of the country. Strategies to curb these are what these monarchs from South-South region are discussing at their steering committee meeting at the Obong of Calabar's Palace.
Our role is principally to maintain peace and order in our various communities. That is what we represent, and we have synergized through this meeting for us to be able to bring in all the stakeholders to discuss various issues that borders on the community.
We have put forward our policy document on security, kidnapping, pipeline, vandalization. We have submitted it already, and government is working on it. And what we are appealing is that government should go back to the old past and use traditional rulers as a basis for governance.
In most communities today, we have what is called a vigilante group. You may call it community policing. And it's the traditional rulers that are funding all this body so that we have peace. It's a job we cannot leave for the security agents alone.
Considering the situation in the country today, the traditional rulers has a role to play to make sure that the security of the place is maintained. Then the government cannot do it alone. They need the traditional rulers, to the grassroots people, for us to make sure that there's permanent peace in the country.
In all, what these traditional leaders want is a developed and peaceful nation where mutual respect, understanding, tolerance and tranquility exist. Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
Now, if you have ever witnessed the devastation of erosion, desertification and other ecological problems, then you will appreciate the federal government's promise that no part of the country will be left behind in the execution of infrastructural development projects. It was the Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazau, who reiterated this while inaugurating some federal projects at the Federal University, Dutse, in Jigawa State. Awal Muhammad Kazauri has the details.
The federal government has, through the Ecological Fund Office, awarded the contract for the erosion and flood control as well as road network at the Federal University Dutse in August 2018, which has been delivered within the completion period. The project covered about 4.5 kilometers of internal campus road with the needed drainages to avoid flooding. The Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Bello Dambazau, says the project is one of the ecological intervention projects approved by the Federal Executive Council for the first quarter of 2018. He restated government's commitment in tackling environmental challenges in the country and makes life more meaningful to the people.
The intention of this project is in keeping faith with the present administration's promise that no part of the country will suffer any neglect owing to its geographical location or political consideration.
We established a fire service unit. We, however, have a pressing problem, which is that of firefighting equipment, which includes fire trucks and a fire station building.
Governor Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, represented by his deputy Ibrahim Hassan, appreciated the federal government presence in the state. In Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazauri, NTA News.
If you want more convincing about government's commitment to infrastructure development, then here it is. The Minister of Works, Power and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, has been inspecting such projects in Kwara State, and he says President Buhari is resolute to continue his inclusive governance towards revamping the nation's economy. Deborah Agbola has that story. Debbie, it's over to you.
Inspected projects include the 40 blocks of 80 housing units at Aliara in Ilorin and Ilorin Omaro Kaba Road. Having expressed optimism that the project will be completed in time and to specifications, Raji Fashola emphasized President Muhammadu Buhari's intention to ensure that Nigerians benefit from every stage of nation building as a recovery and economic growing process promised during his electioneering campaign.
When President Buhari says that his government is building at least one road in every state, it is happening, and that his government is undertaking housing projects in 34 states is happening. That was our campaign message, and we will continue. Now, this is one of those roads in Kwara State.
We are happy that the quality and the materials are from Ilorin here, not from any other place.
In an interactive session with controllers of works in the Federation, Raji Fashola enjoined the officers to be resourceful, diligent in their service to the nation, treat public issues with sensitivity, be determined to succeed, and also represents the government as expected by reflecting appropriately the intention of the federal government in the discharge of their duties. Deborah Agbola, NTA News.
The Society of Landscape Architects of Nigeria has called for a national environmental action plan supported by legislation as a panacea to the challenges of desertification and erosion which threaten the nation's landscape. This came to the fore in Abuja during the investiture of the first set of fellows of the society. Mitaire Ikpen has more on that.
Green and virgin lands are giving way to infrastructure with the spate of development in the country. Experts believe that unless deliberate actions are taken to preserve the green areas and beautiful landscapes of the country, the citizenry will become more susceptible to the harsh effects of climate change. The investiture of the first set of fellows of the Society of Landscape Architects of Nigeria was a call to greater advocacy for the preservation of the environment. Some of the fellows who were recognized for their efforts in championing a green environment were emphatic that the nation badly needs a legislation that will be followed to the letter.
If
United Nations projected we are going to have 411 million people, Nigeria by year 2050. We must restore back the agricultural landscapes. 2, we must restore back all the mining landscape that is causing crisis, death in Zamfara, in Atijero. 3, we must restore back all the rivers that are polluted, that are getting dry, and much more, we must restore back the urban landscape.
There needs to be an act of parliament, that will establish this profession and give it the impetus and the power.
It's like a code of conduct within the environment. So if you have to play a part within the environment, you have to check the charter and see what it is asking you to do.
Landscape architects believe tree planting and horticultural gardens can be seamlessly integrated into urban development.
There's a war coming against the environment because we are beginning to fight the environment and the environment is beginning to fight us back.
If you look at Abuja now, Abuja is a beautiful city. And if we are not careful, I just hope that Abuja will not become another slum.
We need to still go back to these things we used to have before. In the village, we have houses and they are surrounded by trees and gardens. So as landscape architects, we are advocating that we go back again and do those things we used to do so that we can save the environment for the next generation.
As professionals committed to urban greenery and landscaping of open spaces, landscape architects canvass their inclusion in urban and regional planning in the country. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, has attributed cases of recent building collapse in Ibadan to the use of substandard and economy of materials, calling for stiffer penalties for culprits. Chief Inspector COREN in the state, Sam Adeleke, said this while reacting to Tuesday's collapse of a 2-story building under construction in Eleyele, Jericho area of Ibadan. Ayo Miku Ajibola has an update.
Though no death was recorded in the collapse of the 2-story building under construction at Eleyele, Jericho area of Ibadan, some of the 8 site workers who sustained various degrees of injuries are said to be out of the hospital. Chief Inspector Oyo State COREN says the building gave way during concrete casting of a portion of the site. He added that investigation on what led to the collapse of the building will soon commence, insisting that any professional found wanting will face the full wrath of the law.
When we carry out our investigations on the planning stage, on the construction stage, we'll then be able to identify, is there a professional that does not do his job as he should? A professional body, we now take such a person to a commission of inquiry within their professional body. If there is serious professional negligence, that professional can lose his license to practice.
Residents therefore called on professional bodies to unite against building collapse by walking the talk and not just criticizing the unfortunate incidents.
I think that it's very important for them to, regulatory bodies, to always check these things regularly and make sure that defaulters are brought to book, because these are people's lives that we're talking about.
I think the necessary thing that the government should do is just like, they should punish the head. If they punish the head, they will know that this is their job. This is the reason why they are being paid.
Building control, they opined, cannot be left for government alone. Hence, stakeholders must develop passion for organized and stable built environment, devoid of incessant incidents or collapses. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Still to come, correspondent examines the effects of 2018 flood disasters and farmers' herders' crisis. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
What we are really cultivating here is a better future for all Nigerian women. And it's not always easy. Panadol Extra relieves headache, backache, joint pain, toothache, and menstrual pain. The pain is worth it.
Can your milk do this?
do this? Mine can.
With Hollandia evaporated milk, your ice cream, custards, and variations of beverages taste pleasantly different. Hollandia evaporated milk. Life tastes different.
From the House of Cheese.
Share a Mentos, make a friend. Stick together till the end. Share a Mentos, socialize. Share Mentos and be nice. Share Mentos candy, crunchy outside, chewy inside. Stick together till the end. Oh, oh, oh. Enjoy Mentos, have some fun. Who says no to Mentos? Activate your life, be who you want to be. Yeah, yeah. Time to get active. Yes, the time is now. Now, now, now. Come on, get active. Oh, yeah. Yes, you can do it if you try.
Start an active life with the power of vegetables and fruits. Chivita Active. Be active. Do more.
I thought leaving the country was the best decision for me and my future.
I left for a better life.
We were picked up by immigration officials and sent to a detention camp.
I spent 8 months in the detention camp.
There was no food, no water.
I saw people being beaten like animals.
Some women were raped. Some women were sold as slaves.
I thought I would never see my loved ones again.
I have made the biggest mistake of my life.
I have wasted all my savings.
I have to start all over again.
Migration is a human phenomenon which cannot be stopped. But if we choose to migrate, we advocate that it should be done in a safe, orderly, regular, and dignified way, and not in a dangerous and tortuous manner.
This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons.
You're welcome back, and our Lagos Network studio is where we go next to join our Bolade Salami for business news.
Good evening, Fatima, and welcome to Lagos for the business news. The federal government is set to introduce the 2019 regulatory gas pricing policy in order to address the issue of unregulated pricing of gas in the domestic market. Minister of State Petroleum Resources Ibeka Chiku, during a dialogue session with stakeholders in the gas industry, said gas pricing will be based on market-derived price.
The federal government in 1999 came up with an initiative to stop gas flaring, thereby encouraging the private sector to invest in gas infrastructure and utilization. The initiative is also targeted at making gas cheaper than LFPO by 30%, as well as create a safe environment for the manufacturing sector. In 2008, issues bordering on gas pricing started when one of the franchisors increased the price of gas from 21 naira per standard cubic meter to 67 naira per standard cubic meter. This resulted in the government's decision to specify that price of gas should be market-derived and based on export parity price.
The law that is going to come into place concerning gas aggregation and distribution will give explanatory notes to gas consumers like ourselves so that we know exactly what the whole value chain of gas is.
We hope the government will be able to do the packaging of everything and allow the 2019 gas policy to come out on time.
The non-compliance with the 2008 regulation by some franchisors resulted in a brainstorming session with the Special Technical Assistant on Fiscal and Regulation to Minister of Petroleum Resources, Ibeka Chiku, and manufacturers, where the issues of tariff took center stage.
As long as the gas pricing is market-derived, it is competitive, and there is no price gouging, it will be beneficial. The gas pricing is not based on government setting a price.
Stakeholders are optimistic that if the federal government can come up with the 2019 pricing regulation, it will help on their planning and budgeting for the year.
Blockchain technology has the potential to reduce accounting and financial fraud in the public and private sectors of the economy. Deputy Governor Operations, Central Bank of Nigeria, Folashodu Shonobi, at a session with accounting professionals, said the use of technology will make financial players more efficient. The unprecedented technological disruptions that are providing new means of how businesses should be transacted has cut across various professions. The accounting profession has seen the significant role blockchain technology play in redefining old way of record keeping in a more efficient, effective, and transparent way. The need for accounting professionals to move beyond crushing financial figures with outmoded methods was emphasized upon.
It changes the ecosystem, and then a whole new set of people learn a whole new set of skills that then become beneficial. It's not as if a change in technology automatically wipes out everybody who was there before. So I think we'll evolve with new needs that would warrant people learning new things, and they'll also get an opportunity. It will make us more efficient.
As a profession, that our members should not be sleeping while business models are changing very fast, and to the extent that these business models are changing, it means that the way and manner we do our work has to change into we have to embrace all these technologies that is happening around us.
In order for accounting professionals to remain relevant in the scheme of things, they were advised to constantly update their knowledge and competence in these emerging disruptive technologies. The Central Bank of Nigeria says it is committed to address the challenge of high interest rates, absence of credit reporting system, and demand for movable collateral as loans by the microfinance banks. The Deputy Governor, Corporate Services, Central Bank of Nigeria, Edward Adamu, said the Apex Bank, in its proposal for a new national microfinance policy framework, is poised to deepen financial inclusion.
Bureaus indicate that the operations of microfinance banks have helped to improve financial inclusion amongst smallholder farmers, artisans, and other business operatives. As of December 2018, aggregate loans granted by microfinance banks was in excess of 480 billion. Of this amount, loan sizes below 1.4 million accounted to more than 70%.
So wrap on business news. News Extra continues in Abuja with Fatima. Good evening.
Thank you so much. Now, if every other indigenous oil and gas company could be like Lee Engineering and Construction Limited, there would not have been any reason for the clamor for local content in Nigeria. Sounds amazing, I guess, but that is the reality. Also attested to by the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Mekanti Baru, as he visits the headquarters of Lee Engineering and Construction Limited in Warri, Delta State. Mayor Ogidi tells us more about the visit.
This is Warri, Delta State, where the story of Lee Engineering and Construction Company Limited started. A story of patience, commitment, and perseverance. In 1991, the company started its journey in a makeshift office with a staff strength of just 40 in Warri, Delta State. 28 years later, Lee Engineering and Construction Company Limited can boast of a staff strength of close to 2,000 with offices in Warri, Lagos, United States of America, the United Kingdom, Italy, Belgium, and the Netherlands, and has executed more than 300 Grade A contracts in the oil and gas industry as well as in the construction industry with 0% accident rate. For the Group Managing Director of NNPC, Mekanti Baru, the journey to success of this indigenous company and the imposing operational base of Lee Engineering in Warri, Delta State gives great deal of hope that the development and growth of Nigeria lies with Nigerians.
A lot of fabrication that would have been done outside the country, I can see it being done here. Surprisingly, also for me, since I came, I have only seen one white man.
The good youth that are ready to learn, we train them. Some of them will give them scholarship. We give the ladies, we do some
hairdressing salon. We train them to do that and give them the opportunity to have their own. So that is the empowerment we give to every environment that we are working, and that work for us. So we have never seen any youth disturbing or not to work. We've never seen any crisis here.
The industrialists also give a word of encouragement to the GMD of NNPC.
Since the GMD took office, we no longer experience the usual petroleum product storage, shortages and queues at the filling station. Please keep that magic wand of your success and achievement flying.
It is indeed an inspiring story for many young Nigerians. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
Afam Power in Rivers State now belongs to Transcorp PLC, and Quest Electric is now the owner of Yola Distribution Company. This change in ownership is sequel to the privatization of the two entities by the Bureau of Public Enterprise, BPE. Again, Mayor Ogidi has that report.
Afam Power and Afam 3 Fast Power Plant, a 240 megawatts electricity generating plant in Rivers State, was not privatized in 2013 due to challenges of gas supply, while Yola Distribution Company, which was privatized in 2013, was taken over by the federal government of Nigeria in 2015, following the investors' inability to meet up contractual agreement due to security challenges in the Northeast. But now, both gas supply and security challenges are considerably addressed. So, in 2018, the federal government of Nigeria called for interested private investors to bid for these companies. The bidding process was a long walk, and this is the final stage. 3 companies made it to the finals: Transcorp Power, Diamond Stripe, and Unicorn. At the end, Transcorp Power was the highest bidder with more than 105 billion naira with 100% acquisition.
One of the requirements is that all the bidders would post a bond, a $2 million bond for the transactions, and all the 3 that contested today have their bonds in place. So we can call on that bond should the winner not be able to come up with a financial consideration for the bid.
There's no asset we've purchased that we've not just paid for, but also we've transformed.
Quest Electric was the sole bidder for Yola Disco with 19 billion naira, with federal government acquisition of 60% shareholding. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
Economic diversification through enhanced production capacities to meet consumer needs nationwide played out when the West African Ceramics Limited inaugurated a royal exclusive showroom in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The investment by the company is not only aimed at showcasing quality and uniquely produced ceramics and granite products, but also giving Nigerian consumers a brand that outclasses those imported. Muhammad Ibrahim now reports.
This formal inauguration of new Royal Exclusive Showroom in partnership with Amud Projects Limited is the 17th in the country by the indigenous West African Ceramics Limited, producers of Royal Ceramics. For a company that won Ceramics Company of the Year 2017 at the Nigerian Housing Awards, it is not relenting in expanding to be the largest ceramics manufacturer in the West African sub-region, with products such as tiles, sanitary wares, marbles, and granites. The showroom provides opportunity for the best builders in Borno and neighboring states to enjoy new shopping experience of tiles and allied products of the Royal brand, such as assorted marbles and granite finish in style for building interiors.
It's made in Nigerian products. The tiles we are producing have been tested in Germany and confirmed by Julius Berger. And presently, when you compare our tiles with imported one, we stand a standard.
The well-attended showroom inauguration brought together a cream of prominent personalities and experts who delivered messages on buying made in Nigerian products and harnessing local resources for nation building, as well as investing as a way of rebuilding, championed by the companies.
We have a team of experts. Their advice is very important. You can choose from marble, granite, tough, whatever you want, the tile, the sizes, the kind of colors that you want.
With the mission to constantly remain innovative in provision of high-quality designs of ceramics using the best materials, technology and manpower, the West African Ceramics is prepared to inaugurate not less than 5 more showrooms in other cities nationwide, placing Nigerian consumers as priority. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Ibrahim, NTA News.
The Presidential Committee on the Elimination of Drug Abuse has taken its anti-drugs crusade to schools in Yola to enlighten students on the effects of drug abuse. Rayanu Bala reports that the committee also interacted with heads of security agencies so as to come out with workable solutions that will end the sale and consumption of illicit drugs.
The visit of the Presidential Committee on the Elimination of Drug Abuse to Capital Day Secondary School Yola, Aliyu Mustafa Secondary School Yola, and the Adamawa State Polytechnic Yola is no doubt to disabuse the minds of the young ones who are vulnerable to taking drugs. Chairman and members of the committee took time to enlighten the students on the physical, social and psychological consequences of taking drugs, as it also affects the well-being of the society. They were overwhelmed with the establishment of drugs-free clubs in most of the schools, which is a sure way to stop the menace at the crucial level.
You can go to any height that you choose. Prayer, hard work, no to drugs.
The committee also interacted with various heads of security agencies in the state, where the chairman, Muhammadu Buba Marwa, tasked them to live up to their responsibilities, especially in the fight against drug abuse. In Yola, Rayanu Bala, NTA News.
Service to humanity, that's the motto of the Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association, NAFOA. Now, the members have put words to action by donating basic necessities of life to the Kuje School for the Handicapped. Najaa Tijani was there and now reports.
Kuje School for the Handicapped houses about 200 children with special needs who more often than not experience little or no love from the society. On this occasion, some of them are dancing to Nikombaga's Sweet Mother as they welcome these mothers from the Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association, NAFOA, who have come with much-needed beds, foodstuff, toiletries, medicine and wheelchairs. Duke, a 26-year-old paraplegic with stunted growth who has been in the school for some years, demonstrates his excitement about the new wheelchairs with a fist bump. NAFOA President Hafsat Abubakar says this is the sort of impact the association hopes to make around the country.
To reach out to the needy people wherever it is. And we have done so many activities in the past years. We have visited the IDP camps, hospitals.
Members of the school management tell me the donation will make the children more comfortable. As the children celebrate the women who have shown them love, NAFOA insists that service to humanity is the key to national development. Najaa Tijani, NTA News.
More intrigues as the countdown to the 9th Assembly leadership builds up. Stay on for these and more after the break.
The Nigerian Institute for Public Relations, NIPR, presents her 2019 National Annual Conference and AGM with the theme, Optimizing Public Relations Strategies for National Cohesion. Date, 1st to 3rd May 2019. Venue, International Conference Center, Abuja. Events lineup are as follows. 1st May, 7 p.m. FCT night, a dinner reception to welcome delegates. 2nd May, 10 a.m. Main conference, AGM and night of fun. 3rd May, 9 a.m. Tour of Abuja. Keynote speaker, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, Archbishop of Sokoto Diocese. Chief host, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Honorable Minister of Information and Culture. Host, Malam Mukhtar Siraju, President, NIPR. For more inquiries, call 0803-965-2051 or 0802-961-0429. NIPR, professionalism and excellence. Announcer, Comptroller Wale Adeniyi, Chairman, National Organizing Committee.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
You're welcome back. This is NTA News Extra, reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. It is countdown to the 9th National Assembly. Campaigns, consultations, you can even add lobbying for leadership positions are on in earnest. But how interesting is the build-up to the inauguration that comes up in June? What is the winning strategy in advancing good governance? Answers and more with Talatu Eziriki.
It is a common global parliamentary practice that the minority has the right to express, while the majority takes it all.
Those against say nay, the ayes have it.
A start many expect to play out in the leadership of the 9th Assembly, given that
the All Progressives Congress APC has the majority of members in the two houses. Already, the party has made its endorsement in its zoning bid to advance equity and justice. This APC stalwarts say is followed by consultations in carrying everyone along to consolidate on democratic gains.
Sometimes they say minority views may be louder than even the majority voice, but we know what we are doing. Okay. We've already declared. Plateau has declared. In the North Central, the entire North Central zone has declared. Many of the zones have declared. We are now trying to see the dissenting voices. But at that time, that is where discipline will come in. Okay. And when people say, you are not going to discipline, what is the purpose of party? Party has a constitution. Party has a reason for discipline.
Those who want to see rancorous exercise during the election of the Leadership National Assembly will be disappointed. By the time we get to the day of inauguration, we'll come together and make sure we deliver these people, deliver Amelon as the Senate President, and deliver Femi as the Speaker.
The leadership of the party is trying to galvanize everybody to have this common focus, so that all the foci will be focused on one point, and that's what's going on. It's consultation, consultation, consolidation, then we arrive at the consensus.
For others, no room for loopholes to avoid past mistakes.
Every person who is aspiring for any particular presiding officer position must be supported by the majority of political party. And in the event that anybody decides to do otherwise, then of course the supremacy of the party and then the will of the Nigerian people must really come to force.
There was high level of indiscipline within the ruling party. Without a party platform, you are nobody in the National Assembly.
Analysts strongly believe that good governance lies largely on right actions, advocating the revisit of past political culture that stood the nation out. Talatu Ezirike, NTA News.
Many thanks, Talatu. Now, the National Youth Council of Nigeria has commended the Governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, and the State House of Assembly for passing and signing into law the Kogi State Youth Development Commission Bill. In a statement by the National Public Relations Officer of the Council, Kehinde Ajola, they noted that the act has further justified the need for a second term for the governor. They appealed to other state governors and state legislators to follow the same pattern. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has ordered the immediate redeployment of the Commissioner of Police, Kaduna Command, Ahmed Abdurrahman, from the state to the Force Intelligence Bureau, Force Headquarters, Abuja. Aji Ali Janga, who until now is the Commissioner of Police in charge of Bauchi State, takes over as the new helmsman in Kaduna Command. Other commissioners of police affected by the redeployment are the CP Habu Sani Ahmadu, former CP Intelligence, who is now posted to Bauchi Command. CP Omololu Shamsuddin Bichi redeployed from Benue State Police Command to the Central Criminal Registry, CCR, Alagbon, Lagos, while CP Mokades Mohammed Garba moves from the Office of the National Security Advisor to Benue State Command as the new Commissioner of Police. The elsewise CP in charge of CCR, Alagbon, Lagos, has now been moved to Force Headquarters, Abuja, as the CP in charge of armament. The postings take immediate effect. In a statement, Force Public Relations Officer Frank Mba indicates that the redeployment is part of efforts aimed at rejiggling the fight against armed banditry, kidnapping, and other sundry crimes across the nation, particularly in Kaduna and other contiguous states. The acting IGP ordered the newly redeployed CPs and other strategic commanders nationwide to take urgent steps towards initiating and implementing concrete crime prevention strategies to redominating and reclaiming the public space under their watch from the activities of notorious criminal elements. Following the consistent intervention of ECOWAS chairman President Buhari on the political situation in Guinea-Bissau, the key political parties have resolved to work for peace and smooth democratic process. The parties made the commitment after the latest visit to Bissau by Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema, who is the special envoy of the ECOWAS chairman. Makut Simon Macham tells us more.
The latest round of political disagreement in Guinea-Bissau erupted after the country's legislative election of March 10, 2019, principally over power sharing in the country's legislature between the ruling party and the opposition. With the situation not abating, ECOWAS chairman President Muhammadu Buhari dispatched his special envoy, Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema, and the ECOWAS Commission President to the country to ensure that the issues are resolved immediately. The delegation met with President Mario Vaz, Prime Minister Arusha Gomes, President of the National Assembly Capriano Kasama, and various parliamentary groups in the country's National Assembly.
We're very happy with the way it went and commitments that were made. And we believe that if those commitments are respected and kept, that this problem will be over in a matter of a week or two. And we can now move on, and this country can really look forward to a much brighter future.
Delegation took advantage to insist on the availability of ECOWAS to help Guinea-Bissau pursue its reform, and its also availability to support the government that will be formed next in order to help the country move forward.
Nigeria has continued to support the entrenchment of democracy in the West African sub-region, particularly in Guinea-Bissau, which is recovering from years of political instability. Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
Well, so far so good, but we're not done yet, as sports is up next when we return after the break. Stay with us.
The family of the late Odo Odom of Ikot Ntong Nsit Ubim local government area of Akwa Ibom State regrets to announce the untimely death of our father, brother, uncle, late Mr. Charles Samuel Odo Odom, whose demise took place on November 12, 2018 at the age of 62 years. Funeral arrangement April 28, 2019, opening of the Mourning House. May 3, 2019, service of songs conducted by Foundation Faith Church, Salem Family, Ekot.
These emperors and their household for almost 500 years. It is now the largest tourist attraction in China. If you have ever wondered why the Forbidden City was forbidden, let's join Julieta, I know, who was at the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Julieta?
China's most popular single-site tourist attraction is the world's largest imperial palace, commonly known as the Forbidden City. Originally called Jijincheng, which means Purple Forbidden City, it was built with the labor of over 1 million workers and 100,000 craftsmen over the period of 14 years. The Forbidden City was seen as a divine palace for the divine ruler of China and therefore forbidden to the ordinary people. Now the city welcomes about 80,000 people daily and 14 million annually, with the face of the founding father of the People's Republic of China, Chairman Mao, at the entrance. Most of them armed with their selfie sticks. Chinese visitors to the Forbidden City makes 90% of tourists daily, particularly on weekends and on national holidays.
In existence for the past 500 years, and today we still visit, it's like a new place, We see Chinese from other cities, they come both young and old, to see this place.
A whole day spent inside the palace may not even be enough to appreciate all it offers. Courtiers with 980 buildings in 70 palace compounds. Impressive to behold, both in size and scale, the Forbidden City has 8,886 surviving rooms.
And look at the amount of money that the country will generate per day. And not only that, it also creates opportunity for people that have shops in those areas. And also, in terms of, it also brings surveillance to individuals that work in those areas. So, look, in one way or the other, after going through the Forbidden City, you are able to buy 1 or 2 souvenirs.
The Forbidden City was the citadel of China's last 14 emperors for 492 years, with 14 Ming dynasty emperors and 10 Qing dynasty imperial rulers. In Chinese ancient times, the emperor was acknowledged as the son of heaven with heavenly powers. The last emperor, Puyi, abdicated in 1912, and the Forbidden City ceased to be the imperial residence. It became the Palace Museum in 1925 and was listed as the largest collection of preserved ancient wooden structures in the world by UNESCO. From Beijing, China, Julieta Aino, NTA News.
And for a bit on sports now, Ministry of Youth and Sports Development holds reception for athletes from 2 federations as Caster Semenya loses appeal over IAAF testosterone regulations. It's over to Amanzi Marcus with details on Sports Update.
Nigerian wrestlers and their counterparts in rowing and canoeing have been commended by the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development for winning medals for the country despite financial challenges. At a reception Tuesday for the athletes and officials of the two federations, Sports Minister Solomon Dalung noted the 6 gold, 2 silver and 4 bronze medals won by Team Nigeria at the African Wrestling Championship in Tunisia and the gold and a bronze won at the International Open Canoe Sprint Championship in India are indications of better days ahead.
The Permanent Secretary, who is the chairman of the main organizing committee, should now include canoe and rowing. Having been orphaned by the state, we should provide parentage for the Federation to participate in the next 20th edition of the National Sports Festival.
30 participants from the paramilitary and 10 states of the Federation is a necessary, reasonable and proportionate means of achieving the IAAF's aim of preserving the integrity of female athletics in the restricted events. With Sports Update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with the Omoti family, government and people of Edo State, leadership of the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Form 1, and the entire Nigerian Muslim Ummah on the passage of Hajia Amina Omoti. A statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, noted that President Buhari believes that as National Amira of Form 1 and devout religious leader, Hajia Omoti will be fondly remembered and honored for promoting spirituality and decency among Nigerian Muslim Ummah, as well as religious tolerance in the country, affirming that Hajia Omoti served her religious community with dignity, diligence and courage. The president paid tribute to her invaluable contributions to nation building, including rallying Nigerian Muslim women to fulfill their God-given roles in building the family and by extension the nation. President Buhari prays for the repose of the soul of the deceased and Allah's divine comfort for all who mourn her. A worthy sports ambassador, Senior Apostle Nafiu Bello Osage, has passed on at the age of 90 years. Nafiu Bello Osage represented Nigeria in the high jump event at the 1952 Summer Olympics in Helsinki, Finland. He won a bronze medal for Nigeria in one of the Commonwealth Games held in Vancouver, Canada. Until his death, Pa Bello Osage was the Okaigbe of the famous Oloke family of the great Benin Kingdom of Edo State. He was a humanitarian who reached out to the less privileged and a voice for the oppressed. Pa Bello Osage will be buried on Friday, the 10th of May. The social dance and Thanksgiving service follow on the 11th and 12th. The obsequies begin with a service of songs on Thursday, the 9th. Pa Bello Osage is survived by one wife and 24 children and many relatives, among whom are Alhaji Bello Osage, Sharifat Bello Osage, and Amenze Igiebo Anyeru, an assistant director news with the Nigerian Television Authority. And the death has also been announced of Lolo Florence Nwangwe at the age of 81. Burial arrangement by the family indicates that vigil mass will take place on the 2nd of this month at late Nze Godwin Nabife Nwegwe's compound. Umwe Jikoe Ihela in Anambra State, while funeral mass is on the 3rd at St. Martin's of Tours Parish, Ihiala, Anambra State. She is survived by her children, grandchildren, relations and in-laws, among whom is Joy Nwegwe of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. Well, it is on that sad note we end NTA News Extra tonight. We thank you so much for joining us and we look forward to seeing you again, same time, same station next week. Until then, on behalf of all of us out here, we thank you for joining us and we wish you a pleasant night rest. Good night.